Medicare Supplement plans and Medicare Advantage plans. Simple and effective coverage. Let's find out why. Medigap's plans simply fill the gaps that Medicare has. And they just pay the 20% that Medicare doesn't pay. So it is simple and it works. And the best part is there are no networks for you to go. You can go anywhere that Medicare is accepted. It basically makes life simple for you. There are no networks. You can go to any hospital you want, any doctor that you want, and it will simply pay the 20% that Medicare does not pay. So when can you get a Medicare supplement plan? Well, the answer is you really can get it at any time. There is no time periods like enrollment periods like there is on Medicare Advantage plans or Medicare drug plans. So you can really get it at any time. Now, if you want to get it with no underwriting questions whatsoever, you can get it when you first turn 65, and you would have 7 months to make this transition of going into a Medicare supplement plan if you don't want underwriting when you turn 65, which would be you can enroll 3 months prior to the month that you turn 65. You can enroll the month that you turn 65 and up to 3 months later. That's the period of time that you have if you don't want to have any underwriting whatsoever. Or you can also get a Medicare supplement plan with no underwriting when you're leaving the insurance with your current employer. So even if you are older than 65, but you have insurance through your employer, when you decide that you want to leave your employer's plan, you can also get a Medicare supplement plan without any underwriting. Incidentally, just to clarify, you can change a Medicare supplement plan at any time you want, or enroll at any time you want, as long as you are on Medicare and you're over the age of 65. So if you have a rate increase and you have a Medicare supplement plan and you want to apply with a different company to have a lower rate, you can absolutely do that at any time that you want, except you will have to fill some medical questionnaire asking you some health questions. Now, they're not that difficult to pass. The questions are not too complicated, and it's not like you have to have a perfect health to pass a medical questionnaire, and there's no medical exams or anything like that. There's no blood test. There's nothing else that you have to do other than answer some simple medical questions. Now, if you have a big problem, a big medical problem, yes, there's a chance that you will not be able to get approved in a Medicare supplement plan. But for most of us with average health, you will not have a problem doing the Medicare supplement plan questionnaire and passing the medical questions to be approved on a Medicare supplement plan. In fact, some states don't even have medical underwriting. Some of them have a birthday rule where you can only change without underwriting during the months of your birthday. And some states don't even have any medical underwriting rules at all. So things are pretty simple when it comes to Medicare supplement plans. And definitely, as always, no network whatsoever on any Medicare supplement plan. Keep one thing in mind that is very important. Not only there are no networks on Medicare supplement plans, which means you can go to any doctor or any hospital in America that accepts Medicare, but there's also no pre-authorizations for any kind of procedure. So if your doctor and yourself determine that you need a procedure that is a medical necessary procedure and a procedure that is a Medicare approved procedure, you will get it. You will not need any pre-authorization from the insurance company to get the procedure that you need. The decision will be only made between yourself and your doctor. So if you need the procedure done and is necessary, you will get it, and there will be no delays from an insurance company trying to delay your procedure because it's too expensive. Now, there are two simple, viable options for Medicare supplement plans. Yes, there's probably about 10 plans you can select from, but there's only two plans that 95%, if not higher, of the people select. And they are either going to be Plan G or Plan N. And they're very simple. The difference is, on Plan G, you can go to any doctor, any hospital you want. There's only one deductible for the year, which is $240. At least that is the deductible for 2024. It may change a little bit for 2025. I'm not sure about that yet. But at this point, you have the $240 deductible. And then after that, what the Medicare Supplement Plan G is, or what Medicare Supplement Plan G will do is, they will go ahead and pay the 20% that Medicare doesn't pay for any Medicare approved expenses. Simple, easy to work with. You have the plan, Medicare pays 80%, the plan pays 20%, and you pay that $240 deductible. And after that, you're not responsible for any of the medical bills. Then you have Plan N. Plan N is very similar to Plan G, but the difference is, on Plan N, although you have the same deductible of $240 a year, you do have a $20 copay to go to the doctor. And that would be any doctor. It doesn't matter if you go to a primary care doctor or if you go to a specialist. And you have a $50 copay to go in the hospital if you get hospitalized. Actually, if you go in the emergency room, if you get hospitalized, they will actually waive that deductible or the $50 copay as long as you get hospitalized and admitted within 48 hours. So with the Plan N, in addition to the $240 annual deductible that you would have for copays for anything related to doctor's visits, you also will have a $50 copay for the emergency room. Now, if you get hospitalized, like I said, within 48 hours, they will erase or they will forgive that $50 copay for the emergency room, and you don't have to worry about that. But if you go to the emergency room, one quick in and out, or they don't admit it, you will just simply pay $50. Not a big deal. Now, if you want a broader explanations on Plan Gs and Plan Ns, you can go to some of my other videos that I've put out there in the past, and you can look at more detail between Plan G and Plan N and hospitalizations and medical treatments, etc., etc. But overall, they're the simplest plans to understand and the simplest plans to figure out. There's no networks. You can go to any doctor you want, any hospital you want, and as long as the doctor and the hospital accepts Medicare, which is all the hospitals and probably 95% of the doctors or more, you will be fine no matter which plan you select. It doesn't matter if you go with G or if you go with N. Now, I can tell you that we literally have thousands of clients with Medicare supplement plans. And I can tell you with certainty that we have never had a single complaint from any client that has a Medicare supplement plan because they complained that the bills were not paid, or this was approved, or that was not approved, etc., etc. Unfortunately, I can't say the same about clients that have Medicare Advantage plans, because there's always problems with networks, there's always problems with pre-authorizations, or they don't pay this, or they don't pay that. So what I can tell you with certainty is I have never had an issue with a client that has had a Medicare supplement plan other than somebody complaining because the rates were raised by an insurance company, which is a simple fix. We'll just switch them from one company to the other company. No big deal. But as far as problems with networks, problems with doctors, problems with bills not getting paid on time, never. And I can say I have never had an issue with a client complaining about a Medicare supplement plan. Now, as one of the most famous phrases in Hamlet is, to be or not to be, that is the question, would apply to, do I go with a Medicare supplement plan G, or do I go with a Medicare supplement plan N? And that is the million-dollar question that hopefully I will be able to answer for you right now. If you're looking for a plan that has the same benefits, but with a lower rate, and that goes up less every year, that you will have lesser rate increases, and when you do have a rate increase, it's going to be a smaller percentage, then I would highly suggest that you give a hard look to Plan N, because I believe that Plan N is the answer to having lower payments, very similar benefits, almost identical benefits, and lesser rate increases. So Plan N, in my opinion, is the best deal out there. Here are a couple of examples of rate increases on Plan G's versus Plan N. So I'm just going to take a couple of states, a couple of random states with insurance companies that have had recent rate increases. For example, if I take a look at South Carolina, for example, Plan G have had this year an 18% rate increase versus Plan N in the same state with the same company, they had only a 5% rate increase. And that is a huge difference, especially over time. And here's another example. Kentucky, Plan G, 18% rate increase for this year versus Kentucky, Plan N, 7% rate increase for this year. Well, that may not seem like a huge amount, but when you start looking at a difference between 18% and 5% year after year after year, that can have a huge impact of your plan over time. And as you can clearly see, if you have a Plan N, you're going to keep that lower price for a lot longer period of time than if you have a Plan G, considering that even when you start the Plan N will be probably about 25 or 30% than Plan G to begin with. So if you're looking at a lesser rate to begin with, and then much lesser rate increases, the end result of this over time is that you will be able to keep those low rates on the Plan N a lot longer than you would be able to keep low rates on a Plan G. Now, I personally just went on Medicare last month in June, and I selected Plan N. And you should be wondering right now, if an agent that has a lot of experience and can choose any plan that they choose to have selects a Plan N rather than a Plan G, he or she must have a real good reason to select Plan N rather than selecting Plan G. And that is the decision that I personally made when I went into Medicare last month? The answer is simple. If both plans work the same, except for that very small copay that you pay with Plan N, and they both give you the same benefits, but Plan N goes up a lot less than Plan G, why would you even think about selecting Plan G over Plan N when you know in advance that Plan N will go up a lot less over time? And if you ever want to switch, of course, you can switch anytime you want from Plan G to Plan N or Plan N to Plan G, as long as your health is good enough to answer a medical questionnaire and change the plan. But if your health is not great over time and you select Plan G now and you want to change to a Plan N in the future because the Plan G has gone up tremendously, you may not be able to do that. So why not select from the very beginning the right plan for you? So again, unless you're going to the doctor a lot, and when I mean a lot is 2, 3, 4 times a month, every month, I would tell you that Plan N is the best plan for you. Now, if you are going to the doctor a lot, 3, 4, 5 times a month or more, then I would say absolutely not. Go with Plan G. But if that's not the case, I will always advise that you go with Plan N because it's a much better deal for you and it has the same benefits. We always recommend Medicare Supplement plans. It doesn't matter whether it's a G or an N plan over a Medicare Advantage plan. So unless you tell me that you cannot afford the premium for a Plan G or a Plan N, which is very small, unless you can't afford anything, I would tell you to go with a Medicare Supplement plan. Now, if you cannot afford a Medicare Supplement and you have to go with a Medicare Advantage plan, I'm not saying Medicare Advantage plans are bad. A lot of Medicare Advantage plans are great, but they will never be as good as a Medicare Supplement plan when it comes to paying your bills, and your premiums are not very high. So again, if you ask me for my personal recommendation, I would say always try to go with a Medicare Supplement plan if you can afford the supplement plan. If you cannot afford the supplement plan, we will try to help you finding the best Medicare Advantage plan that you can possibly find. But it will never be as good as a Medicare Supplement. It doesn't matter if it's a G plan or an N plan. They will always be better than the Advantage plan. Now be aware that there is no cost whatsoever for our services to you. We will help you find the best Medicare Supplement plan that is available in your area for your zip code and for your age, and we will never charge you for our services. We get paid directly by the insurance company, so our services are completely free to you. And if you get a rate increase on the Medicare Supplement plan, or if you're not happy with the current Medicare Supplement plan that you have, we will help you find the right plan for the right price, and we represent dozens of insurance companies that have very affordable Medicare Supplement plans to help you deal with your monthly premium. So if you need our help, don't be afraid to call us. Give us a call and we will help you find the best plan that works with your budget and the best insurance company with the best customer service.